Welcome to the Young Turks. Michael Shore here in Los Angeles. It is September 1st. There's a whole lot to talk about. Cenk Uygur is in New York filling in on MSNBC for Dylan Radigan this week. Cenk, there's a lot to talk about. There's the president's speech last night. There is Tony Blair's book. There is all sorts of politics in Alaska. But, the thing that's been on everybody's mind, at least, recently, is the Discovery Channel.
Yes. Well, I got preempted for it today, so it's definitely on my mind.
Yeah.
But don't worry, we got some kick-ass stuff for you guys tomorrow on the Dylan Radigan Show at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. If you thought I was tough on Alan Simpson yesterday, wait till you get a load of me tomorrow. Okay, I'm coming for him. I'm coming. So that ought to be pretty good. Now, having said that, so we have this psychotic guy by the name of James J. Lee. He's apparently obsessed with the Discovery Channel. He thinks that they can save the world but are choosing not to. He's got some unique ideas about how they can do that. He's been protesting them for quite some time. He got arrested a couple of years ago for causing a disturbance in front of their building. He was actually throwing out money and gathered around about 100 people to his so-called protest because he's throwing money around, right? Literally in the streets. And in his mind, if you do innovations that could help, he gave someone $1,000 because he thought they had an innovative essay. He paid homeless people to do protests with him. So this was the crazy stuff that was going on in his head. And he thought that we got to save the earth from humans, which are the problem that's causing so much environmental damage to the world.
And not only just save the earth from humans, but save the Discovery Channel from humans, because the humans that are selecting the programming on the Discovery Channel are killing us. They should be using that resourceful time to talk about how to save the planet.
Yes. Now you get a sense of how psychotic it is by his choice in targets, as if the Discovery Channel could save the world. Right? He's not raiding Washington. He's not going into any corporations. No, it's Discovery Channel. If they just put on the right game shows, things would be fine. I'm going to get to that in a second. But of course, today he went into the Discovery building, fired some shots, had a handgun, had a bunch of canisters, said they were explosives. We don't know at this point if they were or not. And he took 3 hostages. They cleared out the other 1,900 people in the building. Barely a 3-hour standoff. The cops wound up shooting him. Has been killed. He's been neutralized. And it's, of course, that part of the story is a tragedy. Obviously, the guy was mentally unstable, and it's a shame that it, went down like this. Thank God none of the hostages were hurt or any of the people that were in that building. Now, having said all that and caught you up on the facts of what happened, let me give you his manifesto, which unfortunately was hilarious. So, Michael, I will start with point 1 in James Lee's manifesto, okay?
I'm with you.
Quote, the Discovery Channel and its affiliate channels must have daily television programs at primetime slots based on Daniel Quinn's My Ishmael novel, pages 207 to 212.
Not the entire book.
No, but the programming should be specifically about those 5 pages, as he explains, where solutions to save the planet would be done in the same way as the Industrial Revolution was done, by people building on each other's inventive ideas. Well, that sounds good. Focus must be given on how people can live without giving birth to more filthy human children, since those new additions continue pollution and are pollution. Now, Michael, let me just pause here first off to chastise you for having filthy human children, because I know you have and you're guilty.
Yeah, I was caught. What can I tell you? James Lee figured me out, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry, America.
I recently had a kid as well. I happen to think we keep him fairly clean, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, well, you can't do everything. You can't be everything to everyone.
No, but don't worry. James Lee has a solution. He continues in point 1 of his manifesto. A game show format contest would be in order. Perhaps also forums of leading scientists who understand and agree with the mouthless Darwin science and the problem of human overpopulation. You know what? Do both. Do all until something works and the natural world starts improving and human civilization building stops and is reversed, making it interesting so people watch and apply solutions. Michael, his answer is the same as yours, game shows.
Well, that's true. That is where I empathize with this poor man. That I think the world can be saved by good game shows, and he and I don't differ on that. But, it does give me a good idea, and I'm going to start trying to put together an environmental game show, and we'll see where we go from there.
Yeah, if you can, please have a Malthusian/Darwinian twist on it. Plus, make sure you read pages 207 to 212 in My Ishmael.
Well, can I tell you what he said about My Ishmael? He said on a MySpace posting in 2006, I just finished reading the Daniel Quinn books last month. It started off as just a recommendation from a girl who worked at a coffee house. After being blown away from his writings, I looked up and saw nothing. No revolution, no people demanding change, no talk, no news, nothing. There should have been something, right? I like the fact that he thinks just because he read the book, he's going to put the book down and the whole world is going to be changing. There'll be a revolution that was watching him read the book. I love that.
Yeah. Now, it goes on. We go to point number 2 in the manifesto because I'm only reading you the best stuff. This stuff is forever. But he says, quote, all programs on Discovery Health/TLC must stop encouraging the birth of any more parasitic human infants and false heroics behind those actions. In those programs' places, programs encouraging human sterilization and infertility must be pushed. All former pro-birth programs must now push in the direction of stopping human birth, not encouraging it. Michael, I know that you're full of false heroics for having your child, so I want you to cut it out and go in the reverse direction.
How do I turn back now? What do I do, Cenk? And there's nobody to ask anymore. Because as you said, they've neutralized James Lee is what you said, which bears comment.
Yes. Well, he wanted less humans on the Earth. In an ironic kind of way, he accomplished that. All right? I feel bad about it. The guy's obviously mentally touched,
no,
right?
That's true. We're slightly less filthy this evening.
Well, with those filthy humans that are running around, that's right. I've got...
All right, well, Cenk, until we get you back, I don't mean to cut off the manifesto, but we're having a little problem with Cenk and the Skype technology for the moment. Well, basically, what happened, to go to the newsy part of the story, is that he made these demands. He had he had made demands of the media. He'd made demands of the public. He'd made demands of the Discovery Channel. He got taken off his probation for an arrest for disorderly conduct, ended on the 18th of August, and then that's when this started today, and we go back to Cenk. Cenk, just sort of getting people up to date on James Lee.
All right, now I have 3 other really quick points about James Lee's manifesto. One is about peace. Apparently that doesn't make any, or at least the peace movements don't make any sense. James explains, also, keep out of the fraudulent peace movements. They are liars and fakes and had no real intention of ending the wars. All of them are fake. On the one hand, they claim the wars to end. On the other, they are demanding the human population increase. See, I think he's a little confused here, Michael, because does he want less humans, in which case wars would be not such a bad thing, or does he want peace, in which case wouldn't we naturally have more humans?
Yeah, well, answers to questions or questions to answer with answers that we'll never know, I guess. I think that I don't think he had his mind made up, actually. I don't think that every sort of aspect of the manifesto was polished and ready. And it's gone the way of many manifestos. You'll remember the Unabomber had his own manifesto.
I think this manifesto could have used a couple of edits.
Yeah,
but
it's tough to get a guy. It's tough to find someone to help you, write a manifesto these days. Though.
Yeah, no, that's tough business there. That's true. Now, James Lee, as you might have noticed, is Asian. He's from Hawaii, I understand, originally. So, I don't know what his ethnicity is. He was
probably born in Kenya. Everybody.
Probably, obviously, right? But nonetheless, he is against immigration. He says on immigration, programs must be developed to find solutions to stopping all immigration pollution and the anchor baby filth that follows that. Find solutions to stopping it. Call for the people in the world to develop solutions to stop it completely and permanently. Find solutions for these countries so they stop sending their breeding populations to the U.S. and the world to seek jobs and therefore breed more unwanted pollution babies. Find solutions for them to stop their human growth and the exportation of that disgusting filth. So, now I point this out for two reasons. One, the right-wing guys are going to love James Lee because they're going to say, aha, you see that as a crazy liberal. That's how they all think. And it's not just us right-wingers that are doing the violence. Here's a left-winger doing the violence. But James Lee is not a right-winger. He's not a left-winger. He is crazy.
He is nuts. He's absolutely nuts. And if the GOP goes after him as a Democrat, bring it on. I mean, that would be the most absurd tag. I almost disagree with you that they're going to do it. I mean, I see why the flags are there, but it would just be so stupid. And they're not. I mean, they're stupid, but they're not that stupid.
I disagree completely.
Well, let's see.
Mark my words. Now,
yeah.
You hold on. Now, the GOP is a little different. They'll probably follow along, but will Rush Limbaugh say that this guy is part of the left-wing, movement? Abso-frickin-lutely.
Yeah.
They said that one of the books he had was Al Gore's book, Inconvenient Truth. Limbaugh is going to do 3 hours on that tomorrow.
No, that's a good point. Limbaugh's definitely going to talk about it and bring those things in. I wasn't really thinking about. I was sort of thinking that you were talking about the kind of organized GOP.
Right. My guess is Limbaugh won't mention that James Lee agreed with him on immigration and hated the peace movement as Rush Limbaugh does.
Yeah.
But those will probably get left out. And now let me end on a fun note for you guys. He finally explains that, because I was wondering, what's this all about? If he hates humans so much, what's the big deal about saving the planet, right? I mean, if he wants us all dead. He explains at the end. He says, saving the environment and the remaining species diversity of the planet is now your mindset. Nothing is more important than saving them. The lions, tigers, giraffes, elephants, froggies, turtles, apes, raccoons, beetles, ants, sharks, bears, and of course the squirrels.
Wow.
Now, here are the things I love about
I wasn't paying attention the whole time. He did mention the froggies, right?
Yes.
Okay.
First, froggies. That's a direct quote.
Okay, I zoned out for a second. I just wanted to make sure he covered everything. All right.
Second, what's wrong with all the other animals he did not list?
Yeah. Okay. How about the freaking otters?
Yeah, how about beavers? How about salmon? What's wrong with those animals?
They're filthy.
And my favorite part is, and I was quoting, after all those animals, he says, and of course, the squirrels.
They get it, of course. All right. Well, James Lee, rest in peace. And it was certainly an odd news story and a sad and scary one for a lot of people. But man, that guy was nuts.
Nonetheless, I've unfortunately found a way to laugh over it, which I shouldn't. Too soon. I know. I did also reject myself.
It's a little crazy.
Yeah, and then, by the way, the ending of his manifesto is, the planet does not need humans. These are the demands and sayings of Lee.
Well, the Lee Manifesto. There we have it. We'll be back. We've got Glenn Beck, we've got Harry Reid, we've got Sharon Angle, we've got John Bolton, we've got all sorts of stuff. A big political day, and we'll be back on the Young Turks.
Back on the Young Turks, Anna Kasparian, Michael Shore, and Cenk Uygur with us. Cenk is on Skype. He's still in New York, filling in for Dylan Radigan. Cenk, we didn't talk about it at all, but you totally got snubbed today for breaking news.
Well, if you are interested in breaking news in this country, you should want me to fill in for MSNBC hosts.
Right, exactly.
Because whenever I do, there's breaking news. I think that's 3 weeks in a row that a show of mine got preempted for breaking news.
Do they ever throw to you to cover the breaking news?
What's that?
Do they ever throw to you to cover the breaking news? Say, Cenk, there's breaking news. We're going to you.
We did when there was minor breaking news a couple of weeks ago. The breaking news was that, you know what? I still don't have her name right. It's Elena, right? Elena Kagan?
Yeah.
Got confirmed for the Senate, but that was the most perfunctory vote of all time. I was begging them not to go to it.
Yeah.
Like that. Oh, here we go. We're going to the Senate. Oh my God! It's 73-16.
You'll be talking to your grandchildren one day, saying, you know, when Elena Kagan was confirmed, I brought that to the world.
Right.
That's pretty big, Jake.
Yeah. Whatever. But on a story like this, they just let the news side of MSNBC handle it.
Right.
So, and I have no issues with it. I mean, it's nothing but dangerous to have me on doing that breaking news coverage, because as you're going to see in the next hour when Michael and I do that story, I'm going to laugh and laugh and laugh, okay? Because that dude's manifesto was hilarious. And it's not appropriate. It's too soon. But that's why we do it on TYT.
Right.
All right, let's go to the next story. So as I mentioned earlier, a Baltimore police officer has been fired because of a videotape that went viral on YouTube, and it was released in 2007, and he's been on trial for it by the police department for the past 3 years, and they've decided to fire him. So what happens in the video, you'll see it in a minute. People are claiming that he overreacted toward a 14-year-old boy who was skating in an area where he shouldn't have been skating. In the beginning of the video, he had just taken his earphones out. Okay. And you'll hear that, okay? So let's go to the video. It's a little long, but it's interesting. It's action-packed. Let's do it.
Yeah, I tried to tell him, but he had his earphones in.
I said, take the earplugs out of your ears. Can you hear me now? Hey, I'm talking to you. What? Can you hear me? Yeah. Don't get defensive with me, son. Because you spend some time in juvenile. You're not allowed to ride your skateboards down here. Nowhere.
Yeah, I didn't hear you.
That's why I asked you if you have the thing on. Don't get defensive with me. You back off me. I'm not your father. You hear me? I'm not your father. You give that attitude to your father. You give it to me, I'll smack you upside your head.
I don't have a father.
Shut your mouth, I'm talking!
Eric, shut up, dude.
Where are you from?
Dude, I didn't do anything.
Where are you from?
Nowhere.
Give me that skateboard.
Dude, man.
Sit down.
What the hell?
Sit down!
Dude,
Sit down, I'm not a dude!
I'm calling Eric, sit down.
You're damn right you're calling your mother.
Dude, don't take my skateboard. I didn't do anything, dude.
Call me dude one more time. Are you from the county or something?
No, I didn't do anything. I didn't hear you.
Hey, let's go.
Where are you from? I'd like to talk to her.
I didn't even do anything. I didn't hear you.
First of all, you disrespected me, this badge, and my department. You understand me? When I'm talking to you, you shut your mouth and you listen. Obviously, your parents don't put a foot in your butt quite enough, because you don't understand the meaning of respect. First of all, you better learn how to speak. I'm not man, I'm not dude. I am Officer Rivieri. Now, the sooner you learn that, the longer you're going to live in this world. Because you go around doing this kind of stuff, somebody's going to kill you. How old are you? 14.
Your number.
Sit down.
78267.
Are you supposed to respect someone
Did you not just hear me? Son, what is your problem? Do you go to school and give your teacher this kind of lip and backtalk your teacher? Then what makes you think you can come and do it to a police officer? Stop calling me dude. A dude is somebody who works on a ranch. Your friends got brains in their head. They know when to shut their mouth. You just keep flapping.
Except he hasn't said anything.
Not a word.
Now, what's your name?
Said I'm going to call my mom.
Eric what? Speak up. Where do you live, Eric Bush? And what's your address? What is it? Is your mother home? You want to call her so I can talk to her? And I'll explain to her what the problem is?
All right, so that's it. That's the video.
You got that camera on? If I find myself on...
I love,
That's the best.
yeah.
If I find myself on... Oh.
I love it. And you know, this story reminded me of another story we did last week where police officers are now trying to make it illegal to videotape them during an arrest or while they're doing their jobs or while they're pulling someone over. And you could see why, because all of these videos are popping up and now they have to face consequences.
It started with Rodney King. I mean, you
Right.
think that they would have had that idea then. It just seems like you can't stop them from... I mean, it's great that you're able to do that.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is great.
Yeah.
I mean, it holds them accountable. And look, every time we do one of these stories, we get, you know, some of our listeners are police officers, and we know, like, there's so many great police officers out there. However, there are others out there that are overreacting.
Well, this was ridiculous. This
Yeah.
was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, okay, so, I mean, he's skateboarding, and he had earphones in his ears, and he didn't hear you when you asked him to stop the first time.
Yeah.
And he finally stopped. You know, he stopped, he sat down.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. And what I love, like, listen to some of the quotes, okay?
I'm not man.
I'm not man.
I'm not dude.
Right.
I'm Officer Riviere.
Right. That's the best
I'm going to
quote.
say that all the time now.
But look, this is the part that I found most interesting. If you go around doing this stuff, someone is going to kill you.
Right.
If you go around riding your skateboard, someone's going to kill you.
God, you saw the shots being fired in the background. It didn't pick it up with that grainy video. It was a war zone where they were right there.
I love some of the quotes too. I'm with you guys. I'm Officer Riviere. That was bad. Except he's yelling at a poor 14-year-old kid who didn't do anything wrong. So, I mean, I'm thinking this Officer Riviere's got mental issues, right? I mean, he
And the
comes
kid-
in with, I'm not your dad. Okay. Yeah,
like-
who thought you were my dad? Where
What do you-
would I get that idea from?
I also like,
That's your-
what are you, from the county?
What
does that mean?
You
The
know,
county kids coming down here and skating and causing a ruckus.
Yeah, stop calling me dude. I don't work on a ranch. That was great. But my favorite, and the one I thought he delivered well, actually, to give him credit, it was, shut your mouth.
Yeah, I like that as well.
Well, what
Came out
about
strong.
what about clearly your parents don't put a foot in your butt enough?
How much is enough, by the way?
Yeah. Well, look at Eric Bush, and that's not enough.
All right.
So, yeah. So, Riviere, he got fired, right?
He got fired. And, you know, he was, the city police trial board was reviewing this. And so 3 years later, they decide, yeah, not having it. Let's get rid of him. Actually, they decided to give him a 6-day suspension without pay. But then the police commissioner overruled and said, no, I'm done with him. He's fired. And then Riviere was like, what? I got fired for this? I can't believe it. So he was shocked by the fact that he was fired.
And then, of course, he also said on Saturday, this past Saturday, that the video does not show him and Bush shaking hands after the confrontation. So apparently they made up and everything was fine, but they didn't pick that up on video. Maybe because he threatened the video camera guy there at the end and said, if you don't, I'm going to... And that was the end of the video. So if he had let it roll a little bit, we would have seen that. And then, of course, he wouldn't have been suspended.
Right.
And my guess is the police commissioner did this because the guy's mentally unstable. You know, I mean, you let unstable guys like that walk around with guns, next thing you know, they're in the Discovery building.
Yeah, exactly. Freaking county.
All right, let's go to the next story. So we all see calories posted at restaurants that we go to, whether it's fast food restaurants or sit-down restaurants.
Yeah.
Pretty soon, movie theaters, airplanes, and convenience stores are going to be required to post nutritional information about the products that they sell or the products that they serve. So a lot of people are upset at this. They say that it's too much government involvement and most people don't want to know what they're eating and they're not interested in knowing the amount of calories. I personally disagree with that. I love that calories are posted everywhere because then I know the chicken walnut salad that I ordered from some restaurant really has 10,000 calories in it and
it's
isn't
crazy.
healthy at all. Yeah.
I was in, and you've probably been. There's a little place called Starbucks in New York, Jank, where they sell coffee and things like pastries.
I got to check that out.
You got to go see it. I mean, you should look it up, find one, and go there. Take a cab or whatever. But in New York, they actually show the calories to the pastries in the Starbucks window. I will never eat another pastry at Starbucks. That's a lie. But for like a week, I won't because I saw these numbers, and it's ridiculous.
Do you remember what they were, Michael?
What? Yeah, I mean, like the apple fritter, which is so good, I think is 480 calories.
I'm not that surprised by that. All the desserts are an insane number.
There's
of
like a little bun that looks like it would be mild. Like you'd walk in there if the calories weren't posted, and you're like, I'll get this because I'm going to be a little careful today. 420. Actually, the apple fritter may have been 580 calories. But
yeah, I'm totally against posting the calories
What?
because I'm against information, facts, and truth. I'm a Republican. No, but I mean, of course I'm kidding, but I'm not one of those people who say they shouldn't list the calories. That's terrible. But for me, I'm a fat ass. I don't want to know. Like at the movie theaters, are you kidding me?
But
That's disastrous.
It's like
I
putting
love that popcorn, and they're going to tell me that it's 5 million calories and make me feel really guilty about eating it. I don't want that. Okay, I want to be in this one case in bliss is ignorance, and I want to live in that.
Well, I think there's a happy medium with it. Like, you don't necessarily have to have it posted on a big poster so everyone has to see it. Like, I remember Starbucks, I don't know if they still do this, but one time I went in there and they had these little pamphlets that listed all of the items that they have and the amount of calories every single item has. That way, if you want to be informed about what you're putting in your body, you can read that and you can make decisions based off that. But if you want to go to like KFC and have a double down and you don't want to know what the calories are, you don't necessarily have to know that information. Just avoid it.
Yeah, well, I mean, KFC, going in, it's a disaster. So there's certain places where you're just like, all right, you're throwing caution to the wind. But it's still, I mean, if they post the ingredients, it's smart to post the calories because there are people who should be eating less. That helps them.
What's interesting about this is
it's because we don't know. I'm sorry, Anna. It's because we don't know. Like that's the by not knowing, we just plow through, and then we have this obesity issue in this country. Right. If we know and there's a little more education about it, I suspect that people will be more careful.
Yeah, and it's one thing to not, to eat like a fried chicken sandwich and say, I don't know how many calories this is. And it's another thing to say like, okay, I'm eating this salad. Because in a lot of cases, you'll order a salad from some sit-down restaurant, and you'll think it's completely healthy. It'll have simple ingredients in it. But you have no idea that salad you're eating has 10,000 calories in it.
Exactly.
It's amazing. So I like the fact that this information is available.
We're uneducated about this stuff, and that is part of our problem. So if we have, what's that?
I was going to just chip in with a couple more quick points here. Number one, I know some people consider me the professional left rigid ideologue, but the reality is I'm willing to make deals. I'm willing to negotiate and compromise. And I think you guys have been fair and balanced. And the idea of having the calorie count somewhere so you can look at it, but not in my face, deal. I'll shake on it. Okay?
That's your deal with Anna. I like it in your face.
Okay. Well, no deal with you. I got to have some core principles.
That's right. Some corporate principles, apparently.
What's that?
Some corporate principles, because the corporate people are the ones who are against it because it's cutting into their bottom line, because now you're less likely to buy a sandwich that's 940 calories than you were. Well,
not true.
It is true.
There were studies done in the past about, because, restaurants have been implementing this, especially in New York City, since 2008. So there have been studies done that show that people are still likely to buy a fatty item on a menu, regardless of how many calories it has.
But fewer people are going to buy it if it's fattier. And there's a law in the country that says if you have a restaurant that has 15 units or more, you have to post the nutritional information. So there's this restaurant chain called Houston's, which everybody goes to all the time, and it seems like, it's grilled chicken and it's clean and it's all that. Well, Houston's changes the names of their restaurants so as not to make it into that 15 restaurant rule. So they start changing their names. Like some of them are now called Hillstone. And what they do is they do it so you can get around because they use so much butter and they use so much fat in their cooking that they don't want to have to post their ingredients and their caloric information. So, yeah, clearly when you do it, it hurts the bottom line.
So look at me being the corporatist on this one.
I was going to say, Mr. Business.
Right. The flip side is, sometimes when you find out the calories of certain things, they wind up helping you. For example, the fillet of fish, which I rather enjoy at McDonald's, turns out to be like around 300 calories and is one of your best, filler-uppers for the least amount of calories. That's like almost, you can get 2 fillet of fishes for the same amount of calories as a rinky-dink apple thing at Starbucks.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and then...
you could have 4 fillet of fishes and you're not eating the Big Mac and you're a hero. I mean, that's great.
And then at IHOP, they started putting the calories in. At first, I thought it was disastrous, but then I realized that the French toast, which I love, is actually the same amount of calories as the egg dish that I thought was healthier and less calories. So now I'm back to the French toast.
Picture of health you are. Picture of health.
All right. I love this story, okay? It has to do with movie attendance, and it turns out that movie attendance for this summer has fallen to the lowest since 1997, okay? So record low for movie attendance this summer. However, theater owners have made a record amount in terms of revenue. And why is that? It's because they charge an insane amount of money per ticket, and it's unacceptable, and it needs to stop. I'm going to be the cop that puts an end to this.
Well, they have all those printing fees for the calorie counting at the food now, so they got to make it up somewhere.
I already love this story because of Anna's use of a Bill O'Reilly quote. You screwed it up a little bit, but not bad. It's, I'm going to be the cop that stops it. And of this.
Oh, I did mess it up.
I thought you were alluding to the Baltimore cop.
No, but listen, I'm with Anna. I mean, I don't know what all the prices are across the country, although, of course, we can see on average it's risen substantially. But in L.A., it's insanity. I mean, regular movies are, at your local movie theater are like $14.25 or something per ticket. $14 for a movie. I mean, has anybody ever heard of Netflix? Do you even know you can get a free trial membership through netflix.com/TYT?
That is a good solution to the problem. I mean, it's only like $9.99 a month.
And it's $7.88 on average to see a movie in America, which seems ridiculously low to me. But
it's not. I mean, look, it depends on where you are. Like in Los Angeles, it is $14.50 or $14.25. Right. It's almost $30 if you want to go on a date to see a movie.
So move.
No. Unacceptable. They can't charge that much money per movie.
And one other thing, it's not just the movie price, of course. As everybody knows, what's the point of going to a movie theater if you're not having that fattening popcorn loaded with butter, right?
Right, which costs like $10.50.
Yeah, but that's not. I don't think it's fattening. I don't think it is. I've never seen it.
Right, as long as I don't say calorie.
Yeah.
Right, now, look, but I know I'm signing up for the popcorn. I know it's going to be expensive. What gets under my skin is the $4 or $5 for a water. Not okay. Now I never go to the movie theater without taking my bottle of water with me and sneaking it in because I just can't do it. I can't bring myself to pay $4 or $5 for a bottle of water.
Yeah, it's a little silly. And you also have to, in order to get the free refills on either the popcorn or the soda, you have to buy the maxi one. So you have to get a mortgage for it at the ticket window, and you pay it off during the movie, and then you can refill, which is nice.
But when you get the super large one, I mean, do you even feel the need to refill?
I don't know. I've never gotten it. It's ridiculous.
Well, now you got me. I want to say 2 more things about that. First of all, my movie tickets are underwater, so I'm thinking about not refinancing them.
Right.
Second of all, I eat really bad food for me, right? Everybody's aware of that. I just told you 800 instances of it in this show alone. But I don't get the max stuff. I mean, like, that blows my mind.
Right.
I mean, if I ate the whole small popcorn, I feel like I gorged myself.
Yeah.
I mean, the people who get the gigantic tub of popcorn and then refill it, let alone like the gallon of Coke and then refill that.
It's hard.
I don't understand how those people are.
It's awful. And you know who I really hate? I hate this guy. I hate, for a quarter more, I can get you the medium.
Oh God, I know.
Like, come on.
I know.
That makes me not want to go near. I cancel my order sometimes. I'm like, no, actually, I don't want anything now.
And you know what? In the movie theater, it's like, oh, that popcorn will be $800, but for a quarter more, I can get you a medium.
Yeah, that's right. It's true.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we have a resort in Japan that caters to men with virtual girlfriends. We'll be back on the Young Turks.
Welcome back to the Young Turks. Michael Shore, Anna Kasparian, and via technology, we have Cenk Uygur in New York here on the Entertainment Hour. Is that what we're calling it now? The Entertainment Hour?
I don't know. We're having a little conflict with what we should call it because it's not really the Entertainment Hour anymore.
Right. It's the it's the other stuff.
It's the social commentary hour.
The social commentary hour. I like
That's
it.
what.
Sochcom.
Oh, you like
it's
it?
It's Sochcom.
Sochcom.
For the Sochcom hour. Anyway, let's get to some Sochcom.
Yes.
Resorts catering to men with virtual girlfriends.
Yes. This resort is in Japan, and it is at the Atami, which is a seaside resort in Japan. And what they're doing is they want to increase tourism, and they realize, hey, we have this subculture in Japan where men like to date virtual girlfriends. So why don't we invite them all to come to our resort during a specific period of time, and they can play with their virtual girlfriends together.
Yeah. Why didn't they just have a virtual conference where they all pretended to go to the conference?
That would be a good idea, except the seaside resort wouldn't be able to make any money doing that.
And second of all, if it's just a bunch of guys that are going there to play with their virtual girlfriends, I don't know. I mean, you're all there already.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's yeah.
Jake.
That's true.
I mean, come on. Look, you know what my problem with this has been for a long time. We've been covering this story on the Young Turks for quite a while. Mm-hmm. This phenomenon in Japan with the virtual girlfriends and the pillow girlfriends and the robot girlfriends. It's not that they're, I'm kidding around about the sexuality. It's that it bothers me that they don't go and tackle life, that they don't seem to be living life. I mean, come on, go grab a cup of coffee with a girl, gather up your, guts, let's say, to ask a girl out. To live in this virtual escapist world is really sad. And, I wonder where this conference was going to be. It's in Japan? You don't say. Of course.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with you, Cenk. They should definitely go out there and meet women. And look, part of the problem is, and I don't know if this is necessarily true, but this is what they argue, that women there are not interested in them, that they're interested in men who are wealthy, who are well off, and they won't even give an average guy in Japan a chance. So they feel like they need some sort of outlet, and their outlet is virtual.
Well, there's got to be some truth to that. I mean, because to drive a not insignificant number of people to have virtual girlfriends, the conditions have to be terrible. I mean, I can't, so there has to be some truth to what Anna just said. Also, a virtual girlfriend, not the worst thing in the world, right?
I don't know. What do you do with her? And what does that
what
even mean?
you don't have to do with her that's better.
So let me
like all the things you don't have to do because she's only virtual.
You're the worst.
Yeah, wait. If I'm looking at Jenna Jameson online, is she my virtual girlfriend?
No.
It depends. Are you guys communicating? Because there's some sort of communication between these virtual girlfriends and the men.
Who's controlling the communication?
Yeah, I don't understand.
The programming of the game is. Okay, so let me explain this to you. Okay, let me explain.
So there could be one, okay, explain, but just start with this. So it's not monogamous. The virtual girlfriends could be with a lot of other people.
I guess. I don't know. I haven't played this game. By the way, let me tell you what this game is, because
I guess if your virtual girlfriend's a slut, then yeah, she'd be with other guys online.
So this resort is trying to attract people who play this game called Love Plus, okay? And Love Plus is a game where you have a virtual girlfriend. I believe it's played on Nintendo DS. And, okay, so you have this virtual girlfriend, and you win points or you win things based on how well you treat your girlfriend. So if you take your girlfriend to this resort, you win something.
Oh. That's
oh, God, these people are such suckers. Oh, they're getting them to go to this resort based on this asinine game. And by the way, this is the worst game in the history of mankind. You have to act really nice towards a girlfriend that doesn't exist.
She's not there.
You blowjobs.
It's pretty great.
Oh, God. Japan, I love you, but you got to snap out of this. And I hear what Anna and Michael are saying, and I say it to the women of Japan as well. And if you're a guy there, hey, man, you got to take control, man. You can't just get intimidated by the women there and then get into this crazy virtual world where you're giving flowers and chocolate to a goddamn computer.
So there we go. That there's a
Love Plus, the Love Plus resort. Can you go without a virtual girlfriend? Can you just go?
I think they have like a sandals-like policy. You must have a virtual
is that
girlfriend
right?
in order to go.
What if you're going there to just pick up some virtual girlfriend, or like
What if you're there to go steal someone else's virtual girlfriend?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you're looking for a threesome.
This is also the most misnamed program of all time. Not Plus Love or Love Plus. It's minus love. It's a girlfriend minus the love.
All right. We got to get to this next story because it has to do with Dancing with the Stars, and that's a huge show. Right. Very important show.
I understand that's what they tell me.
That's what they tell us. All right, so the cast of Season 11 of Dancing with the Stars has been released. They've been named. So I want to tell you who they are. One person is Florence Henderson, who was on the Brady Bunch.
I want her to win.
She was the mother on the Brady Bunch. Yeah. Okay, so she's one of the cast members. Then Kurt Warner, NFL quarterback, or former NFL quarterback. Of course, no lineup is any good without the Situation from the Jersey Shore. Yeah. So he will also be competing on Dancing with the Stars. Then we have my personal favorite, Bristol Palin. I can't wait to see her dance. Yeah. She says that she's not a dancer, but she comes from an athletic family, and that should help her out in the competition. And then we also have Michael Bolton, Margaret Cho, Rick Fox, Jennifer Grey from Dirty Dancing.
Right.
Who seemed to like drop off from the face of the planet after that movie.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, she's Joel Grey's daughter, which means nothing to any of you, but she is. He was the guy in Cabaret. But yeah, I haven't heard much from Jennifer Grey either. But she's always identified. She's sort of famous for that role, though.
Then we have David Hasselhoff, Brandy Norwood, and Audrina Patridge from The Hills.
Okay, so I'm going to go over the people that I have heard of on this list. Okay, Michael Bolton, Florence Henderson, Bristol Palin, Margaret Cho, Rick Fox, Jennifer Grey, David Hasselhoff. I'm on a roll. Never heard of Kyle Massey, Brandy Norwood. Is she Brandy?
It might be. Is it Brandy Norwood? Yeah,
okay, so
Brandy.
I didn't know
that was her last name. Yeah.
And Audrina Patridge, I've never heard of either. So this was a good streak for me. I've heard of a lot of the people on this show.
No. You guys are instance. That's a powerhouse lineup.
Yeah.
I mean, I really think that's a lot of real celebrities, and I'm surprised by it. Right. And I think it's going to be a great season. You get a little of this. I've never watched Dancing with the Stars, and I'm not going to watch this season, but I'm kind of jazzed about it, partly because of the quotes. So here comes Bristol Palin. She says that she wants to wear more modest outfits than the other contestants. So if you're going to wear, a skanky or scantily dressed outfit, she's going to have the least scantily dressed outfit, which is absurd. Is that like a bragging right? My bikini's going to be slightly larger than yours?
No, she wants to maintain the family values television. So that's why she's there. One little thing about this also, it's there's a fantasy football thing in here, because I was thinking in one of my leagues of sort of taking Kurt Warner, stashing him as a little secret thing. Maybe he comes back in the middle of the year and rescues some franchise. Now it looks less likely. Looks like even worse of a pick, but I still might do it.
All right. Now here's what else Bristol Palin says. She wants to, quote, set a good example for all the amazing moms out there yes, we can balance work and family. Yeah, if you're a single mom and you're having trouble balancing work and family, don't worry. Just go on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's a realistic option for people.
Right.
Like, is these people's heads are in the clouds. It just drives me crazy. But the best quote is from Hasselhoff.
No, wait. I
He
want
also
to.
said-
I want to just go back to little bit of that Bristol Palin for 1 second. Yes, we can balance work and family. I mean, if there's anyone who's proven that she's just great at balancing family, it's Bristol Palin, and this just confirms it. Now that I see her on Dancing with the Stars, well, for sure, it comes true. I mean, that's ridiculous.
And by the way, the other person who's great at it is Sarah Palin, who in the middle of her job as governor was like, nah, who cares? And just walked off.
Governor Schmoviner. All right, yeah, go to the Hasselhoff quote. It's pretty great.
All right. Hasselhoff also says that he does not want to reveal clothing because he said, quote, "You won't see me in spandex because it reveals too much of the Hoff."
Yeah, that is the best quote.
The
Come
Hoff.
on, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, we got to go. We got to get ready for the political hour, but we'll be back in just a few minutes. Young Turks.